floor if you're not already there. And begin your process. It's your process of that internal way of welcoming what it's like now as you lie on your back. And just to reiterate as people are still settling, we're continuing on the theme of the use of our sensory organs that help us, guide us, whether they initiate the movement, whether they join into the movement at some point. Are they present? Or are they like a light switch? Anat Baniel speaks about turning a light switch on or off. That's the brain. Are we turning that switch off, forgetting to awaken to the use of these wonderful, wonderful sensory gifts we were given as healthy beings? There are people less fortunate that don't have sight or smell or taste or hearing or the ability to phonate, speak, and even to touch. It's been stricken from their vocabulary. And so how to bring them back? First, to notice which are those sensory organs that are most prevalent for you, familiar. And can you, since we are honing skills, start to draw your attention to some of the other ones that are important, to look for a little bit more balance. And so the first thought I'm going to present as you are resting and listening to your contact is, like a baby, what would it be like to be a baby if you were lying right now, whether in your crib? This is your playpen. For those that have your Feldenkrais mats or whatever type of mat you have, that's your playpen. Spacious. And if it's play, can you maintain a playful mood? Or does something transition to create a little bit more intention, determination to just do it or know what it is we're doing? And of course, you guide yourself through sensations that are pleasant and enjoyable versus, well, that's what you told me to do. It's a guided direction. And how you interpret it might be different than another. But if you keep like a baby, playful, enjoying yourself, it doesn't matter. Be willing to be surprised. And be willing to also recognize when there's a moment that you move beyond that playful, it's nice to do it. To just, because you can. What in that moment occurs that changed the quality? Slowly, bring your feet to stand. And for those that brought the feet to stand because they weren't already standing, did you notice there was a total transition through you? A shift of weight, contact. And because it's such a lovely movement to incorporate regularly in your day, begin to tilt your pelvis in that familiar way of up and down that encourages the lengthening of your spine, a little push up, and then a gentle pull down. Maybe your choice is just to do one of those directions and come back to neutral. And the idea is to notice. And then very slowly, listen if I said you're a baby and all the way down below you, your feet, you get really curious and interested. My feet. So maybe in the exploration, for those of you who have your socks on, you might in the exploration find a way with ease to remove your socks? Not yet. Oh, some of you already started. You heard the direction, remove your socks, and it was like, I got to remove my socks. But didn't I say in the explorations? Interesting. Don't be good students. Just find a way, if your socks are still on, that you find, oh, how do I do that? Now, very slowly, maybe you'll want to explore with your pelvis a little bit. If I said, can you draw your left leg over your chest, but with an intention that you wanted to see your left foot? What would you do? What would you do? And then when you place the foot back down, listen to the quality. Does it stamp down? Did it come up easy, and could it then go down as easy? Yeah, and then someone went, oh, there's a perfect way I can take my sock off. And then explore the right foot. It's just easy. You're a baby. You're a baby. Make sure that this playfulness is easy. And how do you discern? Well, did you hold your breath? Did something stop for a second? And all of you, in one way or another, did your back get longer? And now slowly, maybe with whichever foot felt easier to lift or knee to come over, go ahead and begin to bring that leg over and lace your same side hand through the legs so that that same side hand could begin to slide down the leg to go towards the foot. It's not about getting to the foot. It's finding the way in a self-exploration. You could slide the leg that you'd find your foot. And it happens like a surprise. And do you bring the foot to your hand? Do you bring the hand to your foot? And what is the direction of the leg, the knee, and your hand? And getting to the foot is not the agenda, but it might happen. And each one of you chose a specific leg. And then, if I said, could the hand of the same side leg lace between the legs, so that whether that same side hand is feeling the shin bone, the ankle, or over the top of the foot, but the arm is inside. There you go. What do you do with the knee? And don't strive. Some of you are striving to get to the foot, which means you're not being a baby. Where was the moment you felt you efforted to get there? Maybe you just get to the ankle or the shin. But if you did want to get to the foot, where would the leg go? Where would the foot go? Where would the knee go? That would allow. And if there's a standing foot still on the ground, not with everybody, but if there is, do you use it? Does it help propel you? And then place that foot down. And there's a question here. It's just a question, so that maybe the next exploration you'll go, oh, I did, or I didn't think about that, or I did, but in a different direction. Was there any rolling? Were you rolling up and down? Were you rolling from side to side? Or were you doing it differently? So now this time, do the same exploration, but with the other foot, not the one you were just doing. And maybe you'll feel, well, how come you chose the side you chose? It's an exploration. Yeah. Good. And now add in that you roll a little bit. Well, do you want to roll to the side of the leg that you're exploring, or would you be rolling to the other side? Because what would be beginning, if you were an infant, what really would begin to get your attention is that foot. And of that foot, is there a specific toe? And your idea is if you're a baby, you have to listen to your breathing so that you don't halt it or struggle. If you roll too far, did you struggle to come back to your back? Where is it that that big toe might become available to touch? Make it simpler. That's it. Some of you were making it harder than it needed to be. Maybe you didn't understand some of what I was asking. Good. Good. And then let it go. Just rest. Now you notice, I didn't mention anything about any of the teleceptors in that beginning exploration. I spoke about it before. So now that you want to think about it, were any of those eyes, nose, ears, mouth involved? Certainly the pads of your fingers were involved. But any of those other teleceptors in your head, did they awaken because you wanted to look at the foot? Or the idea that you wanted to suckle the big toe and get it to your mouth? Or you wanted to smell it? Or you wanted to check, was there a sound coming from it? Was any of that in part of your curiosity, or it was like, oh, you didn't tell me to? So I'm going to let you keep ruminating on which of your teleceptors may awaken during the explorations. And does it help? What does it do for you? Since you were gifted to have these wonderful sensory apparatuses working. Bring your feet back to stand. And although the lesson gives a specific direction, I am going to give you a preference. Yours. Which was the leg, as you brought it up, that felt for you simpler, easier? And when you bring that knee up, direct it out to the side so that the foot swings more inward towards the center. And some of you, beautiful, you actually are thinking of other lessons where you could put the ankle on the knee or the thigh. That's lovely. I'm just assessing. I'm getting explorations of which leg to play with. Some are checking the right, they're checking the left. So here's what I'm going to do. You know you are choosing the leg you're choosing. And that's great. I'm going to teach as if it's the right leg. And if you're playing with the left, that's great. Just please do the translation. Don't get lost in translation. Do the translation that you're reversing it to your left. Slowly. Bring your right knee to come over, but it's more that the right knee would go out to the right, so your foot could come more towards the center of you. Do that a few times. Just feel what you do in your hip joint. And then place the foot back. Listen to your breathing. Listen to movement that travels. Is there a curiosity that you want to see it? You want to taste it? Smell it? Hear it? What are you smelling for? Tasting for? Your foot? See, a baby doesn't care what it smells like. They want to taste it. And then slowly, the idea is that you return the foot to stand, and then you lift again, but looking for the quality of the movement that from lowering and lifting, it's difficult to tell in which phase you are, lifting or lowering. It seems almost the same. And then as you continue the exploration, continue with your right hand, or the same side hand as the leg you're drawing up. The knee is out to the side, and the hand has no intention of grabbing the foot. It just begins to find, like a baby, its way through space to find how to take touch of this thing coming towards it. And go gentle. Make the hand come towards the knee as the knee or the leg or the foot is coming towards the hand. And do it as an exploration of play. Then let the leg go back, the hand goes back, and then you bring them forward again, but in this bias where the knee goes out to the side so that it might be a little bit more available for the hand to slide inward of the leg to trail down where it might come closer to the foot. And the idea is it should be like how did that happen? If the foot actually comes into the hand, the thumb and the forefingers would slide over the top of the foot if it happens, not because you do it. It needs to be more like the baby surprised that it happened versus you're grabbing for it to hold it. And if it doesn't happen, then maybe it's the ankle you find, or the shin, or the knee. Where is it that it's playful and it's nice? And if you notice that the standing left foot, or your other foot standing, wants to begin to help rock you or roll you a little here or there, because it feels nice, and maybe it can bring the foot closer to you, then you do that. But give up the intention that you have to grab that foot. That's the antithesis of what we're looking for. That if by chance in one of the explorations it happens, it's a surprise like it is for the baby. And then pause and rest for a moment. And you notice when you rest, what's different? Is something shifting in your contact? And is there a different from one side to the other? And then begin again, but go with the same pattern. So unless you chose the left leg, I'm saying as you bring the right foot off of the floor to redirect the leg, also lift your right arm where it's light, easy, effortless, to bring them towards each other in such a way that the thought is, oh my gosh, this baby sees their foot and what is this big toe? Wow. And maybe you put your other hand behind your head so that when you feel that the head starts to roll or hang back, if you think that helping with the other hand to lift the head, to roll it forward and look would make it easier to bring the hand towards the foot and the foot towards the hand, then do that. When is the moment that you would lift the head? And do you want to roll a little to the left or the right? And the head would be rolling in your hand, or maybe you're rolling around the shoulder blade or the nape of the neck if you've got the head lifted. But you're breathing. You're breathing. Good. And then let that all go and rest. And every time you rest, it's an opportunity to notice what's changing. And here's the question again. Because I did speak of the baby, and what the baby likes to do. Everything starts with the baby in the mouth. One of the first things once they're born is we have to feed them. Suckling. They know everything through their mouth to start. Was your mouth interested in the foot, or was it your eyes, or your nose, or, oh, I didn't think about any of that stuff? Or maybe you rolled your head in such a way that one ear, if the toes were clicking one against the other, like some babies do, or any of us can do, you were hearing that. I'm just refreshing, like we refresh our screen. The telesectors, do we forget them, take advantage of them? Bring your feet to stand. And now roll by way of one side to come to sit. And for some, you may want to have the soles of your feet together. You may have your legs crossed. Some have their legs in a side sitting position. But if I said, now with the same leg, with the same arm, go ahead and see if you can bring the foot to the hand and the hand to the foot. And for most, it's like no-brainer. It's easy. What are you talking about? It got easier, right? And I see some of you thinking of certain lessons. So think that you want to bring the foot to the mouth and the mouth to the foot. They're not going to touch. There are one or two that can actually do it. Don't go there. Do you remember I shared in my training there was one of those lessons that I was having a hissy fit? This was it. They were actually hooking the foot behind their head. And I had two of my colleagues that could do it, because they could. And they were in excruciating pain the rest of the segment. Because they could, they forced it. And I'm saying, listen, but think, now wait a minute, I worked with a little baby who finally had a little bit of sight, and they could bring one eye, which had a little bit of sight, to look at the food they were bringing towards them. Is there one eye that you could see that big toe better with? Just, you bring it towards you. Feel how you do it. And then think you want to smell it. You want to smell it. What's the difference when you want to see it? Is it one eye that wants to see it better than the other? If it's the right foot, is it the left eye that would see it better than the right eye? Compare. If you want to smell it, is it the left nostril that smells it easier than the right? If you wanted to lick it, where would your tongue go? It's not going to touch it. And I would encourage you not, even if you feel you can. Because you might be one of those people from my training program that was in pain as a result. Good. And then for a moment, while you sit here, maybe you could put the foot on the other thigh. Just begin to play with your toes. Just notice if you need one hand to lean on to help support you. If you want to use both hands to play with the toes, what do these toes do? And why does the baby get so curious and interested in them? Yeah. And now this could be a little bit of playfulness, but it may not play for everybody. It might not play out for everybody. You get to decide. So maybe you hold the foot, but be willing to relinquish it. Or maybe you slide up the leg. If I said there are different ways you could roll so that you wind up without falling back on your back. Where would you roll? Where would your eyes go? That you could come back onto your back. Did you give up the foot, the connection of the foot to the hand? Maybe you did. Maybe you let the hand slide. That's it. Beautiful. And see, maybe you have the foot with both hands. Relinquish one hand, keep the same side hand, Put the hand behind your head and bring your head up a little forward. And some of you have both legs in the air. Some have the other foot on the floor. What's the difference? What does it avail you if one of the feet are still on the floor versus it's in the air? They're both lovely. What's the difference? And then leave that alone and rest. Notice your contact. And at any time, if you so discern that you want to bring your feet to stand and tilt your pelvis to relax it from whatever work you might have done, even though we were being playful, but maybe in that playfulness, you got all caught up in it. It was so exciting that, oh yeah, I did get a little activation. And then you just have a sense of humor and go, wow, yeah, I got caught up in it. It was fun. So how do you remedy where something got a little noisy? And you know the movements to play with, soft and gentle. But then I ask this question, what happened in the teleceptors? Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears. Did they tighten up too? Did they soften? And then all I would share as you come back to rest is if you noticed, yeah, I did activate a little bit, then you just keep thinking, I'm going to do less. Even though it was available and I felt I could, there was a little bit of an aftermath as a result of working a little harder than you might have needed to. Because in fact, we are not infants. And we have a history of some things in our bodies. So we want to honor that. Be respectful of that. And bring your feet to stand. Draw that same knee in the direction towards the side so that the foot can come more towards the middle. And begin to slide the same side hand down the leg where it feels effortless. Whatever pathway you choose, it's easy. And maybe it leads only to the knee or the shin. Maybe it takes you to the ankle. Maybe it takes the hand to the foot. Maybe the heel. Maybe over the top of the foot, what's called the face or the dorsum or the top of the foot, with the thumb and forefingers together so that you don't grab. And it doesn't matter whether you get the foot. Wherever you got it with ease. But the arm is from the inside of the leg, not the outside. That's it. And you just play. Even if you don't have the foot, you have the ankle, you have the knee. Yeah, you play. Because you're a baby. And these are baby playful movements. And maybe you start to guide that foot or ankle or leg you are holding to roll a little bit from side to side, noticing that you're not trying to do the best you can, more just to return, so that the return from wherever you rolled a little bit, it's easy. You didn't have to brace or hold your breath or push someplace else to get back. It's reversible. And you play that way, so that at the aftermath, there is no aftermath other than soothing, nice. But if it's not, we learn. That's it. And then a couple of times, take that leg to one side with the intention, wherever you can hold it with ease, you could, as it goes towards the side, you could begin to elongate the knee. If the hand is holding it, great. If the hand has to slide away, notice that it has to slide away. Don't think it has to go straight. Just begin to elongate. And are you elongating more towards the ceiling, or are you elongating in the direction of the side you're thinking to roll to? Maybe some people are rolling to the side of the leg they are carrying, they're holding. Maybe some people are rolling to the other side, rolling over yourself. You just notice what's different. And where does your head go? Your eyes, your nose, your mouth. And then come back and rest from that a moment. And the idea is each time you get to rest, you notice, do my teleceptors feel softer? My eyes sinking in, my nostrils breathing in deeper, without work. My tongue soft in my mouth. My jaw free, as if I wanted to begin a yawn, that it wasn't like a dog with their bone fighting to get it from them. Clamp down on it. Maybe your ears feel a little bit more open. These are just thoughts. They may be your experiences, they may have nothing to do with your experience. Wouldn't they be nice if they were part of your experience? And begin again. This time when you bring your feet to stand and you bring that specific knee away from the floor, the foot, you go first to take a hold with the same side arm wherever it's available without straining. Notice when there's an additional amount of effort. Can you afford that amount of effort that's unnecessary? And then slowly, you can either use the other hand at the back of your head to help support the head and lift the head and feel where you roll to in your spine. And then at some point, begin to roll a little bit in the direction that your leg knee is pointed. And at that point, just let your head follow. If you feel you would like to release the hand behind your head and move it towards the foot the other hand is holding. Because now there's the toe. There's the toe. And you just roll where you can come back. You can either let the head return to the floor and roll on the floor following, or if it's comfortable enough, you can keep the head up, rolling on that portion of the nape of your neck and shoulder blade. And just notice if you're rolling to the other side, because the side I suggested to roll to when you're using both hands is the side of the knee that is in the air. That's it. So if it's the right leg you're exploring, you're going to the right. If it's the left leg, you're going to the left. That's it. That's it. Now, you might notice at some point the standing foot wants to lift. Some of you are feeling it's going to the tippy toes. But if you feel like it would be more advantageous just to lift that also, then lift it. Maybe it helps support, but it's only the right foot or the initial foot the hands are holding. That's it. The other one is just there. Just there. And as you begin to roll to that side, for most it's the right, for some it'll be the left, begin to elongate that foot, opening the knee a little bit away from you. But for something more to occur, so I'm not making it clear. Everybody rest a moment. I see that what I'm intending is not being interpreted. So rest. Let me better hope to clarify my intention. Don't do it. Just hear what I'm saying, dream it. And I'm going to refer to the right leg. You're dreaming how you just levitate the right foot off of the floor and the right knee moves out to the right. As that's happening, the right hand starts to thread through the groin, more biased to the right, so that the right hand, thumb and forefingers together, can slide in the direction as if you were able to hold your right foot. For some, maybe they're holding the ankle or the shin. And then at that point, because you feel from this folding that the head rocks back, if that's safe and comfortable enough to allow the head to rock back and to roll as you roll, so be it. But if you feel, I need a little support, you place the left hand behind the skull. As you feel the skull rocking back, at that point you help the lift, lengthen the neck, lengthen the head to lift so that your eyes, your nose, your mouth could come closer to the foot as you begin to roll a little bit towards the right. The right. That's the right hand holding the right foot. And then at some point you feel, maybe I don't need to hold my head anymore. It can either lie back and roll, or I can keep it here comfortably, and you bring your left hand to hold the right foot also. From where? If the right hand has the foot, ideally, from around the top of the foot to the outside edge, where does the left foot go? Is it thinking of that big toe? Is it thinking of toes? Or is it thinking from holding underneath the sole of the foot to couple with the right hand? They're all possibilities. Maybe you're thinking of hooking the big toe with the left hand. And you begin to roll. You roll to the right in such a way that whether your left knee comes over your chest or the left foot sweeps on the floor following, as you begin to roll to the right, you start to think that holding the foot, the leg, you want to elongate the knee enough that the head wants to follow. The head wants to follow the knee, follow the toe, follow it, follow it. And you're listening for a moment. That's it. Someone already found it. Someone heard it, started to play with it, and found it. Found it. So all of you are resting, imagining. But I'm going to say the person who found it. Do it again. Some now are watching. Follow, follow, follow. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So now people are witnessing who I was referring to. And other people are getting up. But the person who found it, like a baby, go back and forth. Follow, follow, follow. Look where it took her. Look, was it her nose? Was it her mouth? Was it your eyes? That's it. See how lazy and luxurious she's folding herself. So for those of you who got a visual, this is Alice, who found her babydom. And then lie back. Alice, you rest. Those of you who got a visual, now you have a visual of this baby named Alice. You're a different baby. So don't try to do Alice's way of finding herself. And I didn't spell out what happened, because when this lesson goes as a recording, I'm not going to give the function away. They'll find it, I trust. And begin to play. Play gently. When there's a moment that you feel you effort, stop. Go back. Begin again. Catch the moment where we effort. We strive to achieve it and do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with achieving. Even achieving an excellence. But let it be the process of inquiry and curiosity versus force. And it may or may not come to pass in this moment, but it requires that these teleceptors, whether you're thinking of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, get so interested in that big toe that it keeps following it, following it, following it, following it, and following it. If the leg doesn't really lengthen, you keep it bent, pulling it closer to you, you're going to make it harder. You want the hands to hold the foot, the ankle where it can, and it's pulling the arms, it's pulling them gently to transition you where? And then you go back. Maybe the head has to roll a little bit more to the floor and then forward towards the foot. Maybe the foot isn't elongating, carrying the arms out to the side, out, not going far enough to the side for someone. Who am I speaking to? Beautiful circles, but really go all the way to the side. Go to the side, lengthen the leg, look, look, look. Come back, come back. Find that moment of effort. I'm speaking to someone. Come back, come back, come back. Start again. If you need to rest, you rest. Go to the side, lengthen, 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 lengthen. That's, you're finding more and more. It's the head has to soften. I don't care if you think of your mouth towards the big toe. Don't use momentum. And just rest. Let it go. Let it go. Because the baby didn't do it all of a sudden. It took lots of play. And the baby didn't work at it. I got to do it. The baby found it. And then they started to find a pathway and they looked for it again and again and again. Until it started to wire in, it became easy, then it was dependable. Then they didn't have to think about it. But if you think that as you roll to the side, that the arms that are holding, the hands that are holding the leg, they don't slip away from it. That's going to be, in PT it's called a closed kinetic chain. It's a unit. And the leg lengthening away and the head's interest to get that big toe in the mouth follows. There you go. And you come up. And how do you come up? In what position do you come up? And then lie on your back and rest. There's so many lessons of all the lessons I study that I satisfy myself with not achieving the end result. I maybe need more time with it, more lessons, in another orientation. To give up this obsession, I got to do it. But it's my curiosity. Yeah. So think about if you would like to explore going to the other side. Just map it in your brain what you've been doing. There's some on the floor that are already playing, going from side to side. They be advanced in their babydom. And each one of us develops at our own rate. When a person compares this child with that child, I cringe inside. They're all beautiful and wonderful and with their own gifts. They don't have to awaken at the same time, on the same schedule. There you go. That's it. Then change out. There you go. And of course, if there's furniture in the way that impedes you from going to the other side, then you got something that's going to constrain you. Okay. So there's someone I want to say go more to the side, more to the side, more to the side, the side, the side, the side. Now lengthen the leg, lengthen that bottom leg. Take the head to follow. Keep going to the floor. Yeah. It'll take some time. The trying to come up before you really go to the side and then fold yourself together, following that leg that lengthened away from you, that draws the head. And then that's enough. That's enough. Yeah. That's it. There you go. Beautiful. Lovely. And then come and rest. Finish your exploration. Yeah. Lovely. And wherever you've been in the exploration, lengthen and notice your contact. If you worked really hard to try to do it, you might not feel as long and flat and soft. If you worked to explore with ease, even if it didn't come to fruition yet, but you feel, oh, this was good. I listened to myself. Awesome! And if you feel like, something got a little activated, bring your feet to stand and roll gently, tilting the pelvis a little up and a little down. And soothe what needs soothing. What got a little excited. Listen to your breathing. And think about which of your teleceptors were available. Maybe you thought you wanted to kiss the foot or suck the foot. It would be very different to kiss versus suckle something. What happens in the mouth? Maybe you thought you wanted to smell. Or see, like that little baby I used to work with. It was so beautiful how she would take that little piece of food and she could see. She'd have to bring it really close to that eye to really see it, to discern what it was before she popped it in her mouth. This was a baby that the doctors said should not have been resuscitated. And they were astounded that this baby could even be alive at a toddler, functioning way beyond what they thought. So this baby found not only what was told was impossible possible, was starting to find a pathway of ease and joy in her life. That this also gave you some joy. Slowly, roll by way of one side to transition yourself to stand. Listen to your process, and are any teleceptors involved in guiding you? And when you do transition, notice what you notice as you come to stand. Your uprightness, where your spheres, your pelvic bowl, your center of gravity, your rib basket, and your head sit atop your structure. And then slowly stick your bum back and look down and look at your toes. But let the bum go back. Maybe here you can get your hands towards the knees, towards the shins, towards the knees, towards the shins, towards the heels, towards the toes. Maybe you soften your knees to bend, but the bum has got to go back. There you go. And then slowly bring yourself up. Unfold and erect. And notice where your eyes, your horizon is. Your teleceptors, your nose. Your throat. Your chin. Your alignment. And have a walk.